appreciate that introduction. It's always a challenge sometimes to live up to such nice words, but I have been working in college admissions for a long time, and I think that I've been very fortunate in my career to work at several different places and to work in college admissions through some really different times. And as a result, the knowledge that I bring to the college admissions process is not just based on my experience working at St. Lawrence. I've been there for the past 14 years, but I've had the opportunity to work at other private colleges. I worked at Wesleyan University and at Pomona College. I've worked at 2 universities that are comprehensive and a bit more complicated in the admissions process. One was the University of New Hampshire, so a medium-sized public university, and then also I was 7 years at Vanderbilt University in Nashville. So it's really been the years in the admissions profession and the different places I've been that combine for me to make me really thrilled to be invited to spend some time with you here tonight and some time tomorrow as well with some colleagues from other admissions offices. Because it's at this point of the junior year, 5th form, 11th grade, however we want to call it, that we can share with you as admissions people some information that I think will make you less like that little pop-out doll with the eyes and ears bugging out, and more, I think, calmer in your feelings about going through this with your sons. And certainly that's one of the things we hope to do with the boys as well, is to help them to understand something that I think is really important. That was really brought home to me by a conversation I had at another independent school this fall. I was talking to the 2 college counselors at that particular school, and one of them told the story of a young man who had graduated last spring from the school, and he had not gained admission to the school, to the college that he had identified as his top choice, but instead ended up going to another college that he was interested in, but not quite as enthused about when he headed off for his first semester. Well, during October break, he came back to visit his school and talked with the college counselors, and he came in and said to his counselor, "You never told me that college would be so great. All of us thought it mattered where we went. We didn't realize that just college itself is so amazing. There are so many great teachers, there are so many different classes, we're no longer taking a prescribed curriculum. There are so many opportunities with the facilities and the things going on." He said, "I never realized," he said, "that's what you need to tell the students. College is great. And then where they go will inform and shape that experience. But the experience itself is really what people should remember to focus on." And I think that was such a great story because it is so true. I have a colleague at St. Lawrence right now whose daughter is going through the college process, and he's trying really hard to be an appropriate parent in the process, and it's a bit of a challenge occasionally, and so we do a little counseling work every now and again. And I finally said to him when he was feeling very stressed about it, I said, "You know, before we go any further, just know your daughter will be in college next fall, and she will be at a great college." And he just looked at me and said, oh, okay, I hadn't thought about it that way. And I said, just every time you get stressed out about whether she's going to be admitted early decision to the school that she had identified as her top choice or not, I said the important thing to remember is she's going to college and she's going to a great college and she's a great kid. And where she gets into college is not going to make her any less of a great kid. And so again, those are some of the things as a framework, as I spend some time tonight giving you some of my thoughts about the parent role in the college process and ways in which I think you can be very helpful to your sons, and maybe some pitfalls to try to avoid as you're navigating this process with your sons. One of my colleagues, another counselor at an independent school, both boarding and day, did a survey of her students several years ago at the end, right as they were graduating, and it was about the college office and about junior and senior year and curriculum, and it had a lot of different questions, just trying to get some feedback about what their experiences had been. But one of the questions on the survey was what they were most worried about in the college process. And she was actually a bit surprised by the data that came back from the students, because overwhelmingly what the students reported as being most worried about in the college process was disappointing their parents. It wasn't about not being happy at college, and it wasn't about not getting along with their roommate or not making a certain athletic team or not being academically ready. It was about whether their parents would be disappointed in them with where they ultimately went to school. And again, I think that that's one of the things that most parents would also not assume that your sons are worried about. And maybe your sons aren't. But it was still interesting to see that at this particular school, so many of the students had that comment. So I think that one of the things that's important as you kick off this college process with the college counseling staff here at Salisbury, and again, you're incredibly lucky to be working with a team of people who will work with your sons and know your sons not only as advisees in the college counseling process, but in this sort of 360-degree way that adults on this campus get to know the students here. But I think that one of the things that you think about as you kick it off is that everything that you do as a parent when you're talking about the college process is giving signals to your sons. And so, for example, if you're with your sons over spring break this year, and mom and dad are having a conversation, and dad says, you know, I was talking to someone at work, and his daughter just got a big scholarship at such and such a school. Isn't that great? And mom says, yeah, that's great. Then your son, you're not talking about, or even two at that moment, is going to say, okay, that's a good school, that was a good thing. And if you say, likewise, that, boy, you know, so-and-so's going to such and such a college. Wow, I'm surprised. I thought she could get into a better college than that. Then that's your son saying, okay, not a good school. And I think, again, it's one of those things you're thinking, well, we're not talking about him, and we're not talking to him, but you're talking about college. And you have to remember that the students at this point are sort of these sponges about college. They're sort of the kind of sponge that actually takes it all in and often doesn't give much out, at least right away, about what they're thinking or how they're feeling. But it is important to think about the signals that you're giving kind of throughout the process. I think the other thing that you have to sort of work hard at not having be a situation that occurs is, I think sometimes when you kick off the college process for moms and dads, it's like, okay, this is on the to-do list, this is high on the list of important things we need to focus on from now on until you are decided where you're going to enroll. It is an important thing, but it's not the only important thing. And for your sons, there are a lot of important things going on in their lives. The classes that they're taking, the friends they have, the sports they're playing, and they're not going to want to talk about college all the time, or the college process all the time. In fact, you've got to remember, high school itself is a really valuable experience. It is not only about being prepared to get into or then go to college. And so you want to, again, make sure that you're also asking about, you know, how was your day? How was your game? How are you feeling about such and so? Not just about have you sent away for information from these schools, or where are you thinking about, where do you think you want to visit when we go visiting colleges over spring break. Try to remember that it's, in some ways, it's sort of like an additional course that your sons will be taking. As they think about the college process, they do need to attend to it, and like a class, they need to do certain things in an ongoing way as opposed to waiting till the very end. But it's not the only course, and it's not really the most important thing that they're going to be doing in every month, every week, from here through the middle of next year.